The anomaly entered quietly, carried on the soft hum of the solar system like an offbeat rhythm in a song that had played unchanged for billions of years. It didn't begin with drama. It didn't arrive as a discovery. It appeared as something far simpler, far stranger, a missing piece. For generations, the sun had been treated as a constant, a perfect anchor in the vast, drifting expanse of interplanetary space. Steady, predictable, immovable. But deep inside NASA's quiet data streams, among millions of numbers scrolling across forgotten servers, something shifted. The sun was no longer perfectly centered. It had begun to drift in a slow, subtle circle around an invisible point, a gentle wobble. Too small for the world to notice, too soft for telescopes to reveal, but too precise for randomness. Something was tugging at the sun. The earliest signs were dismissed. Stars moved. They responded to planets, to magnetic fields, to solar wind. But as months passed, the wobble grew impossibly consistent. It did not match Jupiter's pole. It did not match Saturn's. It did not match any planet, moon, or object ever recorded. An invisible mass was orbiting the sun, or the sun was orbiting it. Either way, a silent presence had entered the solar system's ancient dance. The idea lived first in whispers, a note in a margin, a late-night thought that refused to fade, a quiet suspicion no one wanted to speak aloud. Nothing known in the solar system could cause it. What remained were possibilities too strange to accept and too persistent to ignore. A black hole. Not the monstrous kind that swallows stars whole, not the mythic cosmic maw portrayed in fiction. No, something far smaller, far older, far more subtle. A primordial black hole, a relic from the early universe, a creature of pure gravity, a shadow dense enough to bend space without emitting a single photon of light. Silent, invisible, patient, yet heavy enough to move the sun. Still, no one embraced the idea. It hovered in the background, waiting for evidence strong enough to outweigh fear. And so, the searches began. Slow, methodical, unblinking. Infrared telescopes scanned the region for faint warmth. Radio arrays listened for distortions in passing waves. Gamma-ray monitors watched for tiny sparks of radiation. The sky answered with silence. But something appeared in the silence, not through light, but through distortion. At the far edge of interplanetary space, a faint circle formed in the background microwave glow. A thin ring. A gravitational lens. Light itself was bending around an invisible object. The first photograph of nothing. A circular ghost, shaped not by matter, but by emptiness so dense it carved a hole in space-time. It was not proof, but it was a beginning. Scientists compared the size of the lens. It matched perfectly with the gravity of a small black hole. The orbit calculations aligned. The sun's wobble aligned. Even the ancient trajectories of outer comets aligned. Something unseen had brushed past the solar system again and again, guiding icy wanderers like a shepherd in the dark. The clues multiplied. In the outer solar system, particles drifted in strange arcs, as though pulled by a distant weight. Dark matter detectors recorded subtle fluctuations. Sensitive instruments caught faint gravitational murmurs, ripples passing through space-time in slow, steady intervals. Each cycle felt like the footstep of something massive moving in a long, dark orbit. A presence never seen, never heard, but always there. As the simulations grew more precise, an image formed in the minds of those who analyzed them. A tiny black hole, no larger than a mountain, yet heavier than Earth. A cold relic from the universe's beginning, drifting through the Milky Way for billions of years, captured by the sun long before humans existed. The solar system was not alone, it had a companion. The early hints were everywhere once eyes learned to see them. The small deviations in spacecraft trajectories, the unexplained pushes and pulls in the outer heliosphere, the subtle lean of the solar wind, always drifting slightly toward one direction. Even past missions held clues. Voyager had drifted off course by fractions. Pioneer recorded unexpected accelerations. New Horizons felt a pull too gentle to explain. These were once dismissed as instrument errors or twisted solar winds, but now, re-examined with fresh context, they whispered the same story, a story buried in decades of overlooked data. The solar system had always held a secret, and the sun had always known. More clues appeared in the shadows of comets. The Oort cloud, the icy sphere surrounding the solar system, showed gaps and clusters shaped by a gravitational visitor. Millions of frozen bodies carried the signature of a wandering mass that had passed through again and again. A silent sculptor, invisible, patient, guiding the architecture of the solar system from behind the veil of darkness. Still, doubt persisted, because the idea was too extraordinary to accept easily. A black hole orbiting the sun? Here, in humanity's cosmic backyard? Hidden in the same space where planets moved in quiet harmony? The thought was frightening, not because it threatened humanity, but because it made humanity feel fragile. If a black hole could hide here undetected, what else might drift through the darkness? What else might sleep in silence just beyond the edge of sight? Science pressed forward. The James Webb Space Telescope scanned the region again. No light, no heat, only darkness. But the darkness bent light around it, a gentle curve, subtle as a breath, a ripple in the fabric of reality. Meanwhile, the Roman telescope mapped gravitational lensing across wide fields of space. A small circular distortion stood out, always in the same place, always the same size, always present. Evidence layered upon evidence. Not loud, not dramatic, but unavoidable. The sun's behavior changed too. Its outer corona showed a faint asymmetry, slight, consistent, always leaning toward the direction of the mysterious mass. Even the flow of charged particles from the sun drifted toward that unseen point, as if following a whisper of gravity. Slowly, the story of the solar system changed. It was no longer a simple star with planets. It was a system with a shadow, a system with a hidden companion in the cold dark. And this companion had been there, perhaps since the sun itself was born. If the object truly was a primordial black hole, then it was older than Earth, older than Mars, older even than the sun. It had survived supernovas, galactic tides, cosmic collisions. It had drifted through the universe untouched, until gravity caught it, until it circled the sun with a patience only gravity understands. Some models suggested it entered the solar system 4 billion years ago during the birth of the planets. Others suggested it wandered into the sun's path much later, captured in a slow gravitational dance. Regardless, the result was the same: a shadow orbiting a star. For centuries, it had passed unnoticed. Comets reacted to it. Radiation curved around it. The sun wobbled because of it. But humanity, blinded by light, never saw the darkness doing the pulling. Now the pieces aligned. NASA assembled decades of measurements: solar motion, particle flow, deep space probes, gravitational wave recordings. Patterns emerged that no longer felt accidental. Each anomaly pointed toward the same truth. Something heavy circled the sun. Something invisible shaped the orbits of distant comets. Something small cast a gravitational halo without a trace of light. Still, certainty remained out of reach. A black hole could not be seen. Only its effects could. And effects can lie. Effects can deceive. Effects can mimic 100 different possibilities. A clump of dark matter? A rogue planet of exotic composition? A million tiny objects acting together? Every alternative was tested. Every model was refined. Every version fell apart. Only one possibility remained standing: a primordial black hole, a silent traveler from the beginning of time. In the months that followed, the mystery changed from a scientific puzzle to something far deeper, something almost philosophical. What did it mean if the solar system had hidden this object for billions of years? What did it say about humanity's understanding of home? What other secrets lay in the silent spaces between planets? Scientists felt a quiet awe, not fear, not panic, a sense of humility, as if the solar system itself had whispered, "You do not know me completely, not yet." The mystery deepened with every new simulation. The sun's orbit across the galaxy showed slight deviations, subtle ripples that aligned with the black hole's pull. The path of ancient interstellar dust streams bent gently toward the same region of space. Even the distribution of cosmic rays showed strange shadows where none should exist, all pointing to the same unseen presence. Still, no announcement was made, not because of secrecy, but because of uncertainty. A theory this large demanded caution. A discovery this profound demanded patience. And so, quietly, humanity waited and watched and wondered. Beyond the inner planets, beyond the frozen worlds of the Kuiper Belt, beyond even the whisper-thin bubble of the heliosphere, the dark region of interest remained calm, silent, still, unrevealing. The black hole, if it existed, made no sound, no light, no movement measurable by human eyes. But it pulled, softly, patiently, eternally, like a silent partner in a dance older than life. In time, the mystery transformed. It stopped being about proof, stopped being about detection. It became something quieter, a reminder of cosmic perspective, that even the sun, mighty and radiant, could feel the gravity of a shadow. That space, vast and cold, still held secrets within arm's reach. That humanity's understanding of home was incomplete, and that the universe, in its grand silence, still kept surprises. Maybe the object was nothing more than a mathematical ghost. Maybe the anomaly had an explanation waiting just beyond the next discovery. Maybe the solar system was playing tricks with physics. But maybe not. Maybe a tiny black hole truly moves through the outer dark, bound to the sun in a slow, eternal orbit. Maybe it watches the planets with the indifferent patience of ancient gravity. Maybe it has been there all along, shaping the solar system in silence. In the end, the universe offered no confirmation, no denial, only the deep, endless quiet of cosmic space. A quiet that asked the simplest, most haunting question: what else waits in the dark? And in that question lived the mystery, a mystery vast enough to stretch across time, subtle enough to hide behind the sun, and powerful enough to move a star without ever revealing itself. Maybe it was nothing. Maybe it was everything. But somewhere in the cold, patient dark beyond the planets, something tugged at the sun, and the sun responded. And that quiet response was enough to begin the story.